Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Just Sing podcast. More importantly, welcome back to season 7. It's official. We lit. We back up in this thing. Um, I thought long and hard. Like in this break, I had a lot of content. I wrote down a lot of topics, different ideas. But one that stuck out, and I feel like it's perfect to pop this shit off with is change. As you seen from the title and shit, you feel me? Change is I've been doing a little bit of dabbling and studying and doing things to make changes and shit. And it's like just within myself, because growth and personal development. But I'm always constantly evolving. Y'all know that I'm always doing my thing, keeping myself in my bag. But I came across something that was like change is instant. Changing is ongoing. And I get it. It makes sense. The ing shows and signifies that it's ongoing. But at some point, we often look at life as emotion that we have to keep, like certain things we don't realize that this is the triggering moment that happens, like with change, right? When we change or whatever the case may be, yeah, we have moments that lead up to it. That's like, okay, I started this process, but it's like, when is it like, I've changed? Like there's no, what I'm saying, going back, like we see it in, bad relationships. We see it in so many different in jobs. It's like the quote unquote straw that broke the camel's back. There's something that happens that like makes the changing process happen and turn to change. And that's it. Like it just snaps on and like that's the end of it. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm not that person anymore. You feel me? I recall several aspects in my life in which, like, it just like the fucking change happened and shit, bro. Like that was just the end of it. It was like, okay, here's the change. But then I can also acknowledge points of not breaking through that wall and getting to change because I was still changing. But in the process of changing, it kind of, I ain't gonna say hindered me, but it gave me a crush to say, okay, as long as I'm changing, I haven't changed yet. Because when I change, it requires me to have different behavior. You feel what I'm saying? And so when I look at how we look at life and shit, whether it's, no matter what perspective you look at, when we look at change, it's always that final point, that final push when it's like, where do I go next? It's like, if I go forward, the changing stops because the change has happened and there's no going back. You feel what I'm saying? And so for a 3, I talked about the 3 different quote unquote types of change. You have change itself, then you have transformation, and you have evolution. You feel what I'm saying? So of course I'm gonna be covering that as well. But those 3 different dynamics are like, I feel that personally, along the lines of the full gamut of going through the changing process and then changed. I feel like evolution is the changed part. You feel what I'm saying? Like the fully, when it becomes past tense, it's like, yo, people are like, yo, you're changing. Like you ever met a motherfucker and like you seen them going through some shit, or you seen them involve themselves with new friends, new people, new family, new anything. And then you're like, they're changing. They're changing. And a lot of times it happens with parents and their kids are like, yo, my child is changing or whatever the case may be. And you can probably catch it if you think you can catch it. But it's like the moment that motherfucker changed, that's it. There's nothing that you can do at that point. And that's anything, that's anybody in life. Once the change happens, like you can stop the changing process. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be on my nerve shit, but like if you ever play Pokemon and shit, like you feel me on the Game Boy, like if you wanted the Pokemon to stop evolving, you just tap the B button in the middle of the evolution. However, if you let that shit go through, that's it. The change happened. That motherfucker is not the same anymore. You feel what I'm saying? It is not gonna be the same. So when we ourselves are considering change, when we're considering, going through that next phase, going through that next level, it's like, are we preparing ourselves for the change? Like, you feel what I'm saying? That's really the gist of what I want to talk about. Excuse me. Preparing yourself for the change. We know that we're going into this to change. Like we know we're going to change. And we know we're walking the path of changing. But what happens and how do you prepare yourself for when you've changed? And before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me at, damn, I'm rusty, y'all. Before we before we dive into that, be sure to follow me at the Just Seen Podcast. Be sure to hit up my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not this episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And as always, that's that for this, and that's this for that. So when we come back, we're going to dive into change, the ongoing misconception. And as always, you know, welcome back to season 7. Season 7 is going to be different, a lot different. I have a lot more content. I'm going to give you a lot more episodes this season. Just because in that time in the hiatus, like so many different things came to me in between season 6 and season 7. So season 7 is going to be something. Like there's a lot that's going to be going on to it. But yeah, as I said, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into change. What did I just say the title was? Damn, I'm slipping. Change, an ongoing misconception. And don't forget to visit iamjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit iamjustseen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're going to dive heavy into it. Okay. So, Pete, this episode, right, it really came about because when I look at people who are on the cusp or doing certain things, and it's like there's a wall that a lot of people hit, myself included, in life. When we're developing ourselves, when we're making ourselves better, there's some kind of wall that we hit that keeps us from making the full transition into something or making the full change into it. But in that wall, it's like there's also going to be something that forces us through it. You feel me? And when something forces us through that wall, what happens is we finally get what all of that shit was building up to, what the changing part was. And then it's like the change finally happened. You feel me? I was doing some reading, and what I came across was like the motherfucker said it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. I was like, damn. But that ties into this because it's like people don't see the work that puts in. People often, one, don't see the work that is being put in to make something change or make somebody change. And two, they don't appreciate the work necessary to make change. You feel what I'm saying? And I mean, I could be reaching and shit, but I just feel like saying it. I think the exchange of money, like making change, is such a simple transaction, and we think making change is as simple as 1-to-1. You feel me? And because of that, it's an ongoing process that we keep going on in. You feel me? At some point, the hamster can step off the wheel. You know, we make the cliches, oh, my hamster running on a wheel and shit. Like, okay, that's cool. But at some point, the hamster can step off the wheel, get a drink of water, go eat some shit, go lay in the little fucking wood chip shits that they live in or whatever the case may be. They can do that. But it's about acknowledging it. You feel me? How much does it take to actually change? You feel me? Not just personal wise, like change, mentality, change spirituality, change things like that. It's like there's an ongoing process. Now, spirituality, of course, I'm gonna stay away from today. I'm gonna stay away from it today because it's like this is more based off of mentality, than it is spirituality. Like your spirituality is a lot deeper than just changing. That requires evolution. That requires a different level of evolution and a different level, deeper level farther level of understanding that people are not willing to put in. You feel me? And I don't knock them because it's just like, you feel me? You go down that rabbit hole you want to, you might come out on the other side of the earth. You feel me? Or you could get lost. But that's not here nor there. The point that I'm making with this is that in our mental, like what really changes our mind? You feel me? What really changes ourselves to make us want to do something or not do something, to stop something? It's like, you feel me? I've been working on smoking for a long time, like stopping, right? And a part of the shit that I'm using to, to get me through, because, shout out to Bun Beta and shit. You feel me? She put me on this dope ass book that was like, it's like, yo, it's crazy because it's showing me like a lot of the psychology behind the shit. It's making it easier. But the thing is, it's like you got that stopping point and then you got a stop point. One of the biggest things that it said, and I'm gonna tie it to the metaphor of all that's going on here, is that in changing, like we try to we try to put focus on or amplify something as a level of importance, you know, for one particular thing so we can keep it alive rather than saying it's time to die. You feel me? Like this change needs to happen based off of I got to push through this point. You feel what I'm saying? The biggest hindrance that makes change ongoing while simultaneously not promoting change is fear. And a lot of people feel like fear is the lack of understanding off rip, right? But a lot of people look at fear as um, fear is a process that makes people petrified to do something. That's how people look at it, right? That's not the case. And sometimes it's the fear of breaking through that makes people not want to break through, because it's like I'm not scared of it. I just don't understand what's on the other side. And I think if we articulated that more and we came to terms with it more, we will be able to understand and look at it and say, well, it's now my time to get through that point. You know what I mean? And actually understand what's on the other side of that. So fear is like, I'm not scared of the unknown. It's like I don't understand the unknown. And I'm not willing to understand the unknown, which is why I can stay in a changing state. Yo, I'm changing. I'm changing. Why are you changing? Because I'm in a state where I don't necessarily have to cross through. Like I'm embracing the fear and trying to absolve myself of it by changing, but I'm gonna also keep that fear alive in me to make me not change. You feel what I'm saying? It's like that fear becomes a double-edged sword because fear is the lack of understanding. And that's why it's so easy. And this is why I talk about the four phases of the mind: belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right? You can be like your change comes the moment you understand. You feel me? Your change comes the moment you understand, because when you experience, you develop creativity. Creativity is the cornerstone for understanding. You feel me? To truly understand something shows that you can create with the raw materials from it. It's simple. You feel me? But when we look at understanding from that perspective, it's like understanding leads to two outcomes. Either you accept it or you reject it. That's what change is. Either you like the level of understanding, when you reach the level of understanding of the mind, it's either do or don't, will or won't. It's really not much, you know, choices. That what I'm saying, is really not that broad in context of what you have to do next. It's either are you gonna do it or not. You feel me? And it's like that fear comes in to avoid the change because it's looking like, what do I do next? You feel me? What do I do next? When I talk about Soul 3 and why it took me so long to write, like that was a part of me. Like I had I had developed myself. Like I talk about, from 2015 when I started to go on my soul journey and doing all these things and stuff. Like that was a journey. That was a process. A lot of the things that I developed and I put out were things that were part of that process. It's like, wow. From that moment, I changed. Like when I remember when that started in 2015, it's like I had changed from a previous version of myself, right? And so it's like after accomplishing all of those things, and the Sofa 3 was the last piece of that. After Sofa 3 was done, I have changed. Like it was like the next step is to acknowledge the change. You're no longer changing anymore. Because I was able to make the excuses of, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm still changing. I'm still getting the book together. I'm still doing all these things. So it would hinder, like when you at that cusp of, all right, it's the next level. Change for the next level. Stop changing in preparation to get you to the next level. But no, you change because the next level is here. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of us look at the hamster wheel we on and look at the rat race we're in because we're putting ourselves in that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like we literally putting ourselves in that motherfucking rat race. Like it if because it's like we don't want to push through that barrier because it changes everything. You feel what I'm saying? And the reason why it was harder for me the second time to make the change because I was able to make the change like into that person that was able to start writing the books and doing all these things. Like there was a change that there's a shift that had to happen, right? In the next shift and the next change, it was like, damn. I realized when I first made that shit, I lost a lot of people. A lot of people switched up on me. I switched up on a lot of people, not in a negative way, but that's what change is. As long as I'm changing, I can still keep that connection with shit that maybe may or not serve me, or it serves me conditionally or no shit, let's shit like that. But it comes a point where once you change, it's done. I experienced that full force where with my belief system, my just everything is like the change that happened between me and people complete is it makes you like, damn, bro, that I really like have to. But in that same token, it gives the credence to say, okay, push through because the amount of people, the quote unquote the soul tribe that I was able to find that was really who I need to be fucking with, it showed up. You feel me? And that's one of the scariest things about change in the beginning because it's like if you don't have any kind of template to compare it on for yourself, you just think you would rather spend time changing all the time because the change requires action. It requires definitive accountability, responsibility, whatever you want to call it. It requires that shit. And now what you got to do is motherfucking step up. Do you got to cut people off? Do you got to change jobs? You feel me? Do you got to like what shit has to be done? Because now when you get into that change part, when you get into the actual change part, now you're changing again for that next level. But it's like, what things in between this change and the next change are needed in order to make the next change happen? You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna use this metaphor and this example because everybody wants to be one. I mean, obviously, we're in a we're in a fucking crazy world, but everybody wants to be one, but nobody wants to be one, and that's a millionaire. Everybody wants $1 million, but nobody wants to be a millionaire. You feel me? When I first started entrepreneurship, I had to train my mind to know that there's a difference between having $1 million and being a millionaire. You can be a millionaire and not have $1 million, and you can have $1 million and not be a millionaire. I know it's crazy. People say, well, the $1 million is what makes you a millionaire. No, it's not. The resources and the skills that can make $1 million is what makes you a millionaire. It's not just about the money. It's not just about the actual dollar. Now, when you have a millionaire mindset, when you have changed it into a millionaire, not just wanting to be a motherfucker who, oh, if I could just hit the lotto, if I could just like, no, I'm going to do the necessary steps to now. When you get into that pocket and you're like, damn, $1 million, that's 7 figures. Okay. What does it take to make that money? You feel me? The moment you ask that question, the answers come to you. And that's the part about change because it's like there's shit you're gonna have to give up. There's shit that you're gonna have to, there's shit that you're gonna have to put down of your past, and there's gonna be shit that you have to pick up from your future. That's the hardest part. That's one of the hardest parts of change is picking up shit for your future. You don't know what you don't need. No, I said it wrong. You don't know what you really need going forward. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't just say, you know what? I need to learn this. I need to learn this. But that's the ongoing process of change. Like changing is like that process of picking up the tools. But when you change, you have everything you like, oh shit, I got it. Boom, next level. Let's go. You feel me? But it's hard to know what to pick up when you're when you're looking for the future for what tools you need, right? So when you don't know what tools you have to pick up, you continue to hold on to the tools that you once had that you don't need anymore. You feel me? Imagine the first phase of whatever it is you're doing needed a shovel. You don't need a shovel any motherfucking more. You feel me? Think about like building an actual house. Like when you start off with the foundation, you need cement. You need cement and you feel me? Cement. I don't know how y'all pronounce it. I just felt like saying it like both. But you get to the point where you need, you know what I'm saying, when you need the cement and you need the mixing and like that's foundational shit, right? You're not gonna use cement to build the attic. You feel me? When it's time to build the borders and the frame, now you need wood. You need nails. You don't need a mixing truck and cement, but that's the thing. We try to take on and force, like when change is about to happen, we try to force the old things that we had to use when we changed the first time to try to use that elevates that propagates the change for the second time or the third, fourth, fifth, however many times you change it. We evolve and we constantly move. You feel what I'm saying? But it's in, okay, how do I achieve this? You feel me? What is it that I need to do to make this a reality? That's where the change is coming in because there's other things that has to happen. There's other things that has to happen. Like your growth will be stagnant until you make that necessary move to change. People be looking at like, but growth is ongoing. Growth is ongoing, but change happens in a moment. And then there's new growth after that. But the change has to happen in the moment. You can't continue to be changing. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to put it on a more, I guess, tangible expression, right? So imagine you're an entrepreneur, right? All right. So imagine I'm laughing because I'm really using myself in this reflection. I just didn't want to say this shit. But imagine you're an entrepreneur, right? And you want to make X amount of money, or you want to sell X amount of this product, or you want to do X amount of this, right? And you decide to take the steps to see what it takes to do that. Now you start looking at, this course and you start. One of the things that happens is in that process, we get overwhelmed because we like, damn, how much more do I gotta fucking know? And it is that moment that we don't embrace that. You only need to know what you need to know. And we try to know everything, thinking that everything is going to be what's necessary for our change. You feel me? That's not necessarily the case. Only what you need to know is what you need to know. And it's like, well, how will I know what I need to know? You have to change. You have to get to that point where you put down the shit of the past and free your hand so the new shit can come into it. Oh, this looks like it can be used. And it's like, I always give this example, this metaphor. It's like the fucking Billie Jean video. I want to say it's Billie Jean, where every time Mike took a step, it's like when he stepped forward, the shit lit up, but he had to take that step forward. Like what you need is gonna, and the shit behind him, it was no longer illuminated, right? So there was no light in it. So what I'm saying is like the shit that you put down, you don't need it anymore. But you need to figure out what you need to be picking up. You feel me? How do you know what you don't need? Now, this is also not to say just accumulate everything. That's the that's the fine tune point, and that's the part of the fear that I was talking about. As people who try to be perfectionists or things like that, it's like, I got to know everything. I got to know 100%. It's like, you don't know what you need to know. So you're trying to know everything with the hopes that, okay, like me personally, now I'll bring it back to me. Like I've wasted so much time, so many resources and everything because I tried to know everything. I refused to, I was so stuck in changing that I refused to change. That's a bar. That's a bar because that happens to a lot of us, not just from an entrepreneur's perspective, but that's the human as a whole. You feel me? We don't change because we're we don't change because we're too busy changing. You feel me? It's like, okay, let me pick this up. Let me pick this up. Let me do this. Let me do this. It's like as long as I'm still changing, I don't have to change. You feel me? So there's things that the change requires. You feel me? In order to fully happen. And that's releasing some of the things you don't need anymore. You feel what I'm saying? I hope you're rocking with me on that. You dig? It's like, but the misconception of it all is that, we say the only constant thing is change, which is fact. I do not deny that at all. Change is the only constant thing. That's the only thing that we can agree on. However, it's uh it's a thing that's often denied to people because they're still changing. Imagine this. right? I know it seems like I'm all over the place with this shit, but I'm gonna give an example that kind of puts it down. If a caterpillar goes into the cocoon and stays in the cocoon, it either one dies or two, it doesn't become a butterfly, right? The purpose of the cocoon is to become a butterfly. There's no other reason for that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? There's no other reason for the caterpillar to eat all of the fucking leaves and shit, go on this whole journey, find a nice little tree or whatever to hang from and all of the shit, spin the silk. There's no reason for them to acquire and do any of that changing except to become a butterfly, right? Imagine if a caterpillar says, "I'm not, I'm not ready to be a butterfly." Like, you go into the motherfucking cocoon, but then you keep stepping out of the cocoon. It's like, I think I need to eat 5 more leaves. I think I need to do this. No, you made the cocoon. Become the fucking butterfly. Go through that process of becoming a butterfly. It's the fear of the unknown. I'm not saying a caterpillar has a fear of the unknown because clearly they don't. Motherfucker just come out as a butterfly and fly the fuck away. But from a realistic perspective, it's like that caterpillar don't know what's coming out as a butterfly. Like, I get it. We see because we're on the outside looking in that when the caterpillar is doing his thing and shit, he's chewing and it's like, oh, he's about to become a butterfly. This nigga don't know what the fuck he's doing when you realistically think about it. It's just like, hey, bitch, I'm just living my life. Okay, eat a little grass here. All right, man. Something's in my stomach, bro. I don't know. I'm getting drawn to fucking just make silk and fucking put something around myself for a long period of time. All right, man. Fuck it. It is what it is. And they just do it. They don't think about, well, should I eat these leaves? Or should I eat this type of leaf? Or maybe I should stay in the grass. Or should I climb up here? Like, no, it's like, yo, I'm just doing something because I know that it needs to be done. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But they don't get caught in the changing part. You feel what I'm saying? The caterpillar never gets caught in the changing part. They change. Not only do they change, they're not a caterpillar anymore. If you see a butterfly right now, if you see a motherfucker butterfly flying, you're not gonna say, "Oh, it's a flying caterpillar." No, it's a butterfly. yo, yo, and I think like when we hold that, like I think a lot of time we project that into the real world. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, when people change, we don't want them to change for real. Sometimes we don't want to change for real because it requires us to become an entirely different being. And then sometimes we get upset and be like, "Oh, you still like this. You just like, no, I'm not. You're trying to say I'm the same motherfucker with a feature? Because realistically, when we put it down on paper, a fucking butterfly is a flying caterpillar. You feel me? Can we agree on that? It's a flying caterpillar. However, we know that a caterpillar and butterfly are not the same. You don't acknowledge a butterfly as a flying caterpillar. You put some respect on this thing. That's a fucking beautiful butterfly. You feel what I'm saying? It's different. So why, when I still want to be known for the old shit that I used to do. For fucking what? That's what the change is about. But when you're changing, it's always, yeah, you feel me? I'm like, I've changed so much in my life that I can't go. If even if I wanted to go back to some of the shit that that motherfuckers I used to fuck with heavy for, I can't. Shit don't even, it don't even feel the same. It don't even feel right. It's like, yeah, see, cause nah, you feel me? I can't be a flying caterpillar. Don't acknowledge me as a flying caterpillar. I'm a fucking butterfly. You feel me? I'm a fucking butterfly. My entire change had to happen. You feel me? And that's where I wanted to get in on this because it's like, how do you push through that wall? Because a lot of it is like fear. Like I said, a lot of it's fear, but it's unknown. It's fear of the unknown. That's it. The only way to absolve the fear of the unknown is to know. I get it. Motherfuckers like, well, you don't know what you don't know. That's the point. You let it come to you. It's gonna come to you when you're ready. Like, it's like the universe has its own algorithm too. Universe, Allah, God, Jehovah, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, whatever it is that you acknowledge, they have their own algorithm. It has its own algorithm. And where you calibrate to and what you decide is gonna come to you. It's gonna come to you right, but you also have to go to it. And you have to be in a point where I'm not stopping here. I'm gonna push through the wall of the change. You feel what I'm saying? Because otherwise, if I stay in this space, if I stay in this pocket, I'm gonna continue to repeat the same fucking behaviors. You feel me? That's what changing is. Like changing is when you're in the battle of repeating behaviors and trying to create new ones, but you don't necessarily want to put the old ones down. There's a moment in which change definitively happens when you just say fuck it and you got to put the old shit down. Changing is change is the only constant thing in this world, but it's not it's not supposed to be ongoing, contrary to popular belief. A lot of the shit that we put an ing on is supposed to have an ed at some point. You feel me? I talk about it in I forgot the name of the episode, but it's like healing or something, trauma healed or healed, hurt, healed, and something. It's one of them episodes, man. It was a long time ago. But yeah, in that episode, it's like similar situation. It's like at some point, when does healing become healed? When do you break through that point where it's just like, I'm not healing from this anymore? I've healed from it. And it'd be okay for you to see that. Like a lot of the shit be in our mind psychologically, why we feel like, oh, yo, I'm healed. Because that's what it was. The episode is called Hurt, Healed, and Recovered. But anywho, um, in that episode, like a breakdown, like some people we because I stopped hurting, they think they're healing. Big misconception. You feel what I'm saying? And because they're healing, they think, oh, I healed. And they think, oh, it's supposed to be like, I'm supposed, like, literally ask yourself this question. Do you really think you should experience pain forever? No. Realistically, you know that at some point pain should stop. Why doesn't it? For the same reason that we're having this conversation about changing and change. In that regard, is like, what do I do next? If my entire character, my personality, who I am is built off of pain, what do I do when I stop hurting? I don't know who the fuck I am. I don't know what the fuck to do. You feel what I'm saying? One of the biggest things that I hear all the time, well, I used to hear when I was young and shit, like, haters are my motivation. All right, so look, I'm gonna show you why I was laughing with that shit, because it's like that's a mind fuck, right? Because what do you do when you don't when people don't hate you? Are you unmotivated? Or to keep the motivation, you got to do shit to make motherfuckers hate you. You feel what I'm saying? You got to do shit to make motherfuckers hate you. You feel me? Everybody I know, myself included at the time when I uttered these words, everybody I know who's ever said haters are my motivation had fucked up attitudes as human beings. They were fucked up human beings. They all say, yeah, motherfuckers just gonna hate on me, this, that, and the third. And I'll be like, ain't nobody hating on you. Had to come to terms with that shit to myself. I was like, ain't nobody hate. And for me, it was hard because I used to have that, like I gave it up about like, I had that mentality about 15, 16 and shit. Like, yo, haters are my motivation and shit. I'm young, copying the old heads and shit. But then it's like, I stopped that shit because I was like, motherfuckers really don't hate me. Like, you feel me? Like, I've never met, no, let me take that back. I've met, I think I met 2 people in my life that hated me. That's it. But outside of that, nobody hates me. Like nobody hated me. Like I was always a cool person. People love to be around me. Like it was easy to make friends and shit. So when you a motherfucker like that, what the fuck is haters your motivation gonna be? I started doing sinister shit. Low key, just like not even thinking about it. Like, you feel me? It's like, yo, cause haters are my motivation. I make motherfuckers hate me. Then when you hate on me, then I just get like, no. No, that's hard to motivate you because those same people, not on any funny shit, those same people who would say haters are my motivation are the same people who became entrepreneurs and then said they're mad that their family won't support them. You feel me? Think about that shit. If haters are your motivation for success, what do you do to succeed? You make people hate you. If they don't hate you already, you do something. It's something about you that makes people hate you. That is a fucked up way to live. That is a fucked up way to live, my guy. Like, really, you make people hate you? Yuck. That's crazy. You feel me? Like, it really does not make sense when you really think about it. Like, haters are my motivation, but don't nobody hate on me. You feel me? I fucks with them heavy. You feel me? Y'all know I fucks with Cat Williams and shit. But some shit, you just can't. As a human, you can't agree with everything somebody says. But he had one of his comedy shows. I want to say it's Pimpin', either it's Pimpin' or Pimp Chronicles. But he was like, if you ain't got no haters, you need to figure out how you gonna make some haters by the end of summer. Everybody cheered and shit. Why the fuck would you do that? Like, why? Like, why would you do that? Why would you search for people to hate you? So now when you look at the people who haters are my motivation, but then you get them on an intimate space and they be like, you feel me? Like, I'm really a good soul. I'm really a good heart. And they really be good hearts. So why the fuck are haters your motivation? And you got a good heart. Now you doing sneaky, deceitful shit just so motherfuckers can hate you? Disgusting. Yuck. Mm. But nah, I get it though. I get it though, because it's as long as you have that ongoing feel, you never have to cross over. You feel me? Because that shows like when we're in that space, it's like we are showing that we don't have the power to manifest the things that we really want. To change something from an ongoing thing to a definitive thing, it requires your own willpower. It requires your own choice. It requires action on your part. As long as it's ongoing and I can keep saying I'm getting it, or I can keep saying it's like, all I got to do is this point here. You feel me? Because this is another thing that got me, right? I made a post about this on my social media. Oh, speaking of underscore just underscore scene underscore is back up and shit. Like, you feel me? Because I found a system like, and again, this ties into it. I found a system to stop beating myself up and like, okay, I was literally burning myself out so motherfucking much that I was like, this shit is crazy. And then trying to quit smoking and shit too. One of the topics was that, you feel me? You know, a lot of people confuse stress with responsibility. I am people. You feel me? A lot of times I won't stressed out. I was just doing too much. I was doing the most. I have to admit that. Like that had to like in order for me to start working on stopping this shit and getting to that point of okay, I could be done. It's like I had to realize I was doing too much. I was doing the whole fucking most. You feel me? And like when I stepped back and looked at it, I'm like, yo, there's no reason why. It's like there's no reason why I should be having five different. Well, no, it's a reason why I got five different brands, but there's no reason why I should be trying to keep up with all of that. Like, yo, leverage. Like, it's like, yo, bro, you can leverage you. You feel me? You can leverage you to the point where you're killing five birds with one stone. You feel me? But my thing was, it's like I gotta be this type, I gotta be this way, I gotta be this way. And the motherfucker, like, I put too much responsibility on myself unnecessarily. You feel me? Because it's a part of, oh, I'm developing into this. Like, no, what do you do when you develop? You make the development. Like it's difficult until you acknowledge it. Then it becomes simple. It's like, damn, bro. I'm sitting here so much time spending on a wheel trying like with the ing part of building it. It's like, yo, it's built, right? I ain't gonna hold you. Look. In these last couple months, like that I've been, the break has been off of this these episodes. Is like, it's like my thing was like I had got such in, building mode. I got such in building mode. It was like, yo, it's built. Like I had took an outside source to look at me and say, it's built, right? Like, what are you still building? I don't get it. It's like, it's like you have everything. It's like it was that point of going through the wall of change. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? You feel me? I have to admit that that was me. It was like, all right, this ain't ready yet. How you know it ain't ready? Cause I don't know this, that, and it's like, no, you don't know what you don't know. So you got to do what you know and then figure out what it does, like where the blockage is, and then overcome that part. I was, a type of motherfucker who was like, yo, let me have everything. Like that wasn't realistic. And it also wasn't idealistic. You feel what I'm saying? So as somebody who did it and somebody who does it, it's like, bruh, like the shit's built. Like, why are you making it more difficult than it has to be? You feel me? So much so that it was like when I sat back and I really looked at it, being in that ing phase of changing and developing shit, I was like, yo, you could have been done years ago. You feel me? You could have been done years ago. But it was in having to accept that I was not focused on the change. I would just focus on changing. You feel me? That's easy to get caught up in. Oh, I'm changing. So let me read this. Let me no, take a step to acknowledge that you have changed. I think that's one of the darkest and the most dangerous places of insanity is when you're justifying it. When you're justifying the insanity without knowing that you're justifying the insanity, it causes more insanity, yeah. I was trying to find something else to say to that shit, but nah. When you get caught up in that insanity loop and you justify the shit, that's all it's gonna be. You're never gonna take a step away and say, you know what, I'm being insane right now. You feel me? And a lot of times, people be thinking I'm not. We be thinking that we're not being insane because we attribute insane to crazy shit. Like, you feel me? When you think a motherfucker's insane, you gonna think about a psych ward. You gonna think about some off the wall shit. No, insanity is repeating the same process, expecting a different result, while getting the same result. Thinking, oh no, it's like trying shit won't work. Trying shit won't work. What breaks insanity is coming to terms with the fact that it's like, all right, this like just find something new. Push through that wall. And it's as long as we're still justifying it, as long as we can still justify it, we're not in an insanity loop. You feel me? If I could say, all right, I need this point. And another thing too, I know I'm kind of getting all over the place, but if you can, when in your justification, if you can really and logically come to terms with it, with a sound justification, oh, it makes the insanity so much worse. You feel me? Because you're telling yourself, okay, I gotta have this, I gotta have this, I gotta have this, and they're valid reasons. It's like, well, I don't know that I gotta do this. Where do I find this? So now you go around scavenging, looking for it, and then now you like, okay, I gotta pay. One thing that I've learned, shameless plug. Oh, and speaking of mastering the market, I'm about to do a shameless plug for mastering the market. Speaking of mastering the market, I got a Black History sale running at the time right now. Visit imjustseeing.com, hit up Mastering the Market. It's already set up. I got a Black History Month sale running right fucking now. And it's gonna run till February, till Valentine's Day at midnight. So by the time you guys are hearing this, it should be the second or something like that. I don't know. But either way, you got time. So if you want to join. So with that, something that Mastering the Market has taught me is that along the way, I've learned that people do not want to pay to learn how to make money. They want you to give them all of that shit for free, right? In that, the insanity loop is they know they don't know anything. Now, I don't know ignorant shit, call them stupid, but they're looking for what they want. So they would say, okay, I'm going to go to this free source. I'm going to go to this free source. I'm going to go to this free source. I'm going to go to this free source, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Now, it's so jumbled. Now you have to bring it together and find the commonalities and all of this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Rather than I would rather, pay for this and have it given to me exactly what I want. So this is the thing about change. And I'm gonna tie it back into how it makes sense to this. It's like The moment I put my money into something that is seriously and like seriously, like I have to accept that I'm now going to change. There's going to be no more excuses, no more accountability, nothing that is going to that I can blame on anybody else, on anything else. You feel what I'm saying? I gathered this experience, and this is one of the reasons why I will never, ever, hear me well, I will never, ever do another one-on-one session with anybody who has not finished my course first. Mm-mm, ever. Because in that, you get to a point where it's easy to blame people for your fuck up along the journey because it's like their thing was, now I get it. The past people was like, now coming from where that person came from, it's like, okay, um, like with MLMs and shit like that. Okay, we're gonna give you the research. Like, I get you. You came from that. I'm actually teaching you the game, but you have to learn it. You can't. You're not gonna be able to rely on me. You feel me? You have to learn it. And the problem is that when a lot of people are in a space where they can continue and they can actually blame somebody else for whether or not they're getting it or not, it's like, ultimately, this ain't a shot towards that person because they eventually came back and was like, yeah, your method really works. I don't know why the ones that you recommended for me didn't go through or whatever the case may be, but they're bad. But you still don't want to accept that it was your ass. Did you analyze the shit? After I told you what a correlation number was and I told you, like, did you go back and do your part? Or did you fuck up and blame me? Because you damn sure didn't give me the credit for the ones that banged. What'd you say? It was like, yo, I got it. I got it. Oh, you gave me a bad one. Rather than I didn't get it. Something was off. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. The change requires that accountability piece. You feel what I'm saying? It's easy to go through and continue to say, okay, I missed this part. Let me go back and read it. Like, no, you have every fucking thing you need. Change. The issue is that it's hard to let go of past behaviors. It's hard to let go of past actions. It's hard to let go of the ing part because it's like, that's it. That's it. You know? In my journey of, quitting smoking and shit, one of the things that it was saying, it was like one of the things that I thought about, but I knew wasn't like, it's like, yo, try to wean off of it, cut back. You can't cut back. Like that's one of the biggest mind fucks and illusions. And it was like expressing that as like people who don't smoke will tell you to cut back, right? But it doesn't matter because the habit is there. It doesn't matter whether you cut back a little or cut back a lot. It's like it's still completing a cycle, right? So a lot of times it's like sticking with that. It's like we would rather do things in parts. And I'm flipping it because now it's like when it comes to that change, okay, let me just do a little bit. If I do a little bit for a longer period of time, it's better than doing a lot in a short period of time because I can always continue to say, I'm going, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. What about when you got to break through the wall? You got to push through that motherfucker at some point. You feel me? It sounds good to say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. It sounds so much better to say, this is done, this is done, this is done. That's what change does. Change does that. It's like change happens in a moment. You feel me? You could be living in a circumstance for a certain amount of time, but it's that one thing that when it finally happens, like, yo, I changed. That's it. It's no longer I'm thinking about it, I'm contemplating, I'm inging about it, I'm waiting my time. And it's like, nah, that's it. That's it. Like the change happens now. You feel where I'm going with that? Like you feel what I'm saying? Like the change happens right now. You feel me? So like a lot of times, and this is gonna put it into like this is how trauma works. Trauma changes the fuck out of us. And it happens. It's like there's like you feel me? So just like trauma does it, euphoria does it too. You feel me? I got an episode on that too, euphoric bonds. It's an impromptu pop-up. But yeah, euphoric bonds as well. Because I wanted to change the perspective because trauma bonds are potent. Trauma bonds change the fuck out of us in a matter of moments. There's that one thing that you like, it hits you and it's like, damn. There's like, it's not a gradual thing. It's not a thing that's like, oh, this has been boiling up for a couple months and shit like that. And then like, no, trauma hits you, you change right fucking there. You feel me? You'll never be the same again. There's motherfuckers right now who have gone through some shit and said, okay, you know what? I did this and I'm never gonna be the same again after this. Like this moment, I'll never be the same. Now, in that, it's like, do you accept it and put things down? Like, you feel what I'm saying? When change really happens to you, there's really not much that you gotta, it's really not much to think about. There's like no argument at all. Like the change that it took me to make, like from, med school and all these, like when the change happened was like, that's it. I'm done. Like, you feel me? It was no, okay, there's a way around this way. It's like, no, this whole system is trash. And I don't want to be a part of it. You feel me? In the changing part, I was like, okay, let me see where I can find to be a benefit, where I can help the people, where I can do this. Reach the aha moment. This ain't possible. The system is designed for this. It's not going to work, bro. That's where my change came in. You feel me? Change comes in. Change is like a moment. It's like a flash of lightning almost. You feel me? It just kind of happens. It comes with an epiphany. It comes with, it's just like, It's like that's really just what it is. When people finally decide and they actually break up in relationships and that shit's ended, that's because they've changed. You feel me? You get it. I'm not about to keep taking this shit from you. I'm not about to keep doing this shit. I ain't got to keep watching. Like they say a lot of INGs. When a motherfucker say, you know what? I'm done. That's it. That's when the changes happen. Now, to really be done, and this is relationship side on that shit. To really be done with a motherfucker doesn't mean you are done with that motherfucker and you go find a motherfucker who's just like them, very similar to them. You ain't done. You ain't changed. You have not broken that yet. You feel me? Hot girl A ain't no different than hot girl B. They still hot girls. Sure, one wears skirts and the other one wears fucking combat boots. Who the fuck knows? But they both hot girls. You feel me? Hood dude A and hood dude C, still hood dudes. You didn't change. You're changing though. You're changing because I don't want to feel this pain. I don't want to be hurt by this. I don't want to live. But you haven't changed to say, you know what? I ain't fucking with hot girls no more. I ain't fucking with hood dudes no more. Like to snap out of it is the change. That's where the real reality is at. Getting out of it fully, like, oh, okay. That's the game we gonna play. All right. That's it. I'm like, that's where the change comes in. Once change happens, there is no going back. Unless, of course, you get a refund, metaphorically. But to get a refund, you have to give back the shit you just attained for the shit you once had. You pay $20 for something that's $15, you're going to get that thing and $5 back. I'm not adding tax because I don't feel like doing that math, but you're going to get that thing and $5 back. If you want your whole 20, I still want to keep my $20. Fuck it, let me go take it back. You're going to give that thing back and get your $15 back. But what does that do for you? Because what were you buying? Were you buying something that was beneficial for you? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Were you buying something that you actually needed? Were you buying something that was going to propel you into a whole different space? You feel me? Or were you in a space where you were just, I don't want to go forward. You feel me? I don't want to go forward. This is why one of the reasons why I tell people, like one of my students who was doing mastermind, they're like, yo, can you open all the content? Nope. That's another thing that I stopped fucking doing because it's like, bruh, like I honored my 30-day money back guarantee, but that's foul for you to go through the whole course thing. Oh, I just want to go ahead and get it now so I can do it. And then you play me. You feel me? You go through everything, get the 30 days or whatever the case may be. I let you go through everything because realistically, you can get through all of the content in 2 days. Like that's how simplified it is. You feel me? Knowing that I had to do what I had to do because motherfuckers was banging me. You feel me? 27, 28 day and shit. Let me get my like, bitch, I see you completed the whole thing. You completed the whole fucking course. You have all of my content. You played me. So now that's why there's a 30-day money back guarantee, but that's why everything ain't open until after week 4. You feel me? Because if you like, you feel what I'm saying? Because if you got that regret, okay, this is what it is. Now you're not really willing to fully change, and like, so that's why I tell you, you're gonna waste your money before you waste my time. That's real. Because I've learned that a lot of people want something that they're not willing to change for. You feel me? Not just from a master and a market perspective, but from other perspectives of life. They want something they're not really willing to change for. You feel me? It's like, what are you gonna, as long as I say I'm changing, you feel me? As long as I'm saying I'm changing, there's no change. Like it's like I can keep talking. Well, oh, it's balance. It's this. You gotta have this. It's like, oh yeah, blah, blah. People talk that shit about what it is, and how it being balanced, and it's the fact that I'm changing and won't change. You know, well, I hear it. I used to hear it all the fucking time. When I was in a religion and shit, it's like, yo, he ain't done with me yet. I used to say this shit myself too. Don't trip, because he ain't through with me yet. You feel me? Steve Harvey got a fucking comedy show that, what I'm saying? Don't trip. He ain't through with me yet. Okay. Now, that was cool and shit. Like, I think I was in my early 20s. Maybe I was a teenager when that shit came out, late teens, early 20s and shit. But then it's like, nigga, you in your 50s. You in your 60s talking about he ain't through with you yet. You sure? I ain't trying to wish death or nothing, but it's like you a hop skip away from time being up. When is the motherfucker gonna work on you? Oh, he's still working on me. When has it worked? You knew you won't shit. You know you an asshole. You know you got fucking uh issues with your emotions and shit like that. You know that you a fucked up person. You know that you do fucked up shit, but then you're gonna justify he knows my heart. That should fucking scare you. Like when people tell me that their deity knows their heart, and I know that this motherfucker ain't, like, you should be scared. Because if you say you can't get to be with your deity unless you live this type of way, and you don't live that type of way, you say that deity knows your heart, the deity say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if he knows your heart and your actions are not what you are doing, then come on, yo, don't play with the shit. Be serious. But that's what I'm saying. It requires change. That change is hard to do. Cause now it's like I can't do that shit no more. You feel me? I can't do that shit no more. I can't do stupid shit that I used to do no more. Like it just don't work. You gotta fully change from the shit. It can't be conditional. Oh, I'm gonna do it at this particular point. Like, you feel me? When I quit drinking, right? Because I ain't gonna say I was an alcoholic, because I was never an alcoholic, but I had the propensities of alcoholic. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I know it's like, nigga, but what I'm saying is that, like, I had to acknowledge that this is a problem. You feel me? Because you never really know that it's a problem until it's a problem. So, like, while it's an ongoing problem, while it's problematic, you're like, this ain't a problem. I just don't need to be around you. I just don't need to be around this person. You feel me? When I'm drinking or whatever the case may be. I was always a fun guy. You feel me? I was always a fun dude while I was, drinking and shit. Then one time I got violent. I didn't fight anybody, but I felt the violence in me. And when I seen it, you feel me? Because my homies, they recorded me and shit, right? So it's like, they laughed because it's like, yo, bro, you was just, you know what I mean? And then when I watched it, I was like, I didn't like what I saw. There was no more, okay, I'm gonna work on quitting drinking, or I'm only gonna be a social drinker. I'm only gonna be, no, I can't drink no more. I didn't like that. That's a version of myself that I do not like to see. You feel me? I'm with the shits. I get the shits soberly. If I'm inebriated and I'm in that same space, that is not safe. That is not safe. Not for myself, not for the people around me. Not like the fact that they had to show me a video because I was like, that shit ain't happen. Like I had to see it. I said, that's problematic. It sparked the change. There was no more changing where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna drink on occasions, special occasions. Or I'm just like, no. I'm done. I can't fight. Like, I have to change from this. There's no way around it. You feel me? Knowing my familial structure, knowing the backgrounds of, you know what I mean? Like, alcoholism runs in my family like that. It's like it's easy to get caught into it. But you know what I'm saying? It's deeper than the hereditary thing. I'll talk about heredity sometime down in the season. But it's seeing that was like, bruh, I gotta make the change. There was no, oh, well, I'm still gonna cut back, or I'm just gonna make sure I don't drink that. Like, I know people say, well, I just won't drink that type of liquor because this will make me fight, this will make me laugh, this will be in all dynamics. Because I have those liquors. I had those liquors, like, you feel me? I mixed too many. I don't even know what the source was that triggered me to do that. Because I was drinking tequila. I was drinking that night, I was drinking tequila, I was drinking dark, fucking I'm just okay. So I was drinking tequila, some Jose Cuervo. We had some Hennessy. We had some motherfucking Alizé. We had some motherfucking Bacardi. We had some motherfucking so much shit. I don't know like really what was the spark because I was drinking it all because I'm like, yo, it's alcohol. So you have the people who say things like, well, I don't drink this because it make like gin to make you sin. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's certain things that people won't drink. And it's like that shows that you know that you don't have control in that state. What you're acknowledging, like what you willing to drink, is that okay? This is the one that I can be in most control of, whether I'm in control or not. You feel me? That's a horrible place to be. I don't want to gamble if I'm going to be in control. Like, which drink, which is going to be the one that pushes me to that level where I'm no longer in control anymore. That was something I had to come to terms with because I didn't know. I didn't fucking know which one of these shots is the one that made me violent right now. Now, granted, there was other dynamics that played into it. You feel me? The person that I was trying to fight was my homegirl's boyfriend at the time, and he was being disrespectful. He called her stupid several times. He spoke real condescendingly, and it's like, you feel me? He was talking shit like, you feel me? Like he wanted to rumble. You feel me? So like we was at Applebee's eating and shit. I said, damn, this was years ago. I was like 23, 22, 23. So we in Applebee's eating and shit. And the nigga look at me in my face and say, yo, I don't respect you. So I was like, nigga, but you can't whoop me though. You feel me? But then, he tried to tell this. He said, nah, I didn't mean it like that. There's no way, there's no other way you can mean that you don't respect the man that you meeting for the first time. Nigga, you don't know me, bruh. So I'm carrying that shit. So now we go back, we drinking and shit. Like all of the shit, they like, yo, Ray, calm down, cause he talks shit. Bitch, I talk shit. Like the fuck? Like, nah, Ray, he talk disrespectful shit. Like, it's like, you don't fight him. Y'all telling me already not to fight him, planting the seed and shit. All right, whatever. So I'm cool, calm, and collected. But it's like as the night progresses, I hear his mouth. I'm drinking more. I hear his mouth. And I hear the way he talks to her. I'm like, fuck no. I'm like, yo, I got like, you feel me? And at this point, I'm like, all right, fuck it. We gotta do something. Because nigga, this ain't, you feel me? And I wanted to box. They had to take me outside. They took me outside and shit. And I was like, yo, I want to fuck him up. Just let me do it. They was like, no, because we still got 2 more days to stay here. It's going to be awkward. No, it's not. Because we're going to be sober. I can blame it on the alcohol. Like, that was my whole logic and shit. But I started to think about, like, seeing it soberly. I was like, nah. Change had to happen. There was no longer a changing thing. Okay, I'm just not going to drink this. I'm going to wean off this. No, no, no. I was not in control of myself. That led me to change. I didn't give a fuck if it was, and then I had to look at it like sometimes we look at it from a good perspective. Okay, I was just laughing. I was just like, you're not in control of yourself. Mm-mm. I hate that feeling. I hated that feeling. And that led to change. And that's the thing I wanted to bring into this. Why I mentioned that story, because a lot of us don't have that breakthrough moment. Like, why we're still remaining changing, because we don't have that one moment that's like, bam. A lot of us wait until like it's something drastic and dramatic. We can't tap into little shit to say, okay, this is the problem, or this is what needs to spark me to get to the change so I can leave it alone. Because now you have peer pressure, you have different influences, you have things around you that are keeping you stuck in that. You feel me? So it's like when you stuck in that, what do? You continue to say, okay, well, it's a work in progress. I'm still working on it. You feel me? This is the reason right here. If you've heard it, I don't remember which episode it was on. I was saying Matter of fact, I want to say it was motivation, inspiration, and will. So that was Entrepreneur Goose, I think 9 or 10 or something like that. But it was motivation, inspiration, and will. And I said, if you ever said that I inspired you to do something, you've done nothing with it, stop saying I inspired you. You just admired what I did and thought that you could do it too. You feel me? Because I've watched people who told me, oh, I want to write a book. They ain't put the book out yet. I get it. He's like, well, scene, everybody ain't you. Everybody can't do it. When you want to do something, you do it. There's no in betweens about it. But you got to put yourself in a change and to do this shit. Like I had to transition myself. Like I had to change from being a writer to being an author. Two totally different things. You feel me? I had people and this is the thing about it, it's like those people that said, okay, I got a book that I want to put, they're writers. Don't get me wrong. They're writers who just haven't published anything. They're writers who have not become authors, right? That's their change. It's like, I'm still writing. I'm still writing. I'm still putting the pen down. I'm still coming up with your stories. Why haven't you published anything yet? You feel me? Because I'm still trying to figure that because you're not the author yet. You got to be the author before you're the author. I said it in So for a Conversation Fatherhood. I had to be a father before I became a father. You got to change before you can see the fruits of what your change is supposed to be. Change cannot come in response to something. You feel me? Change precedes what the response is going to need. If I said that right, if that makes sense, like follow me. Like we want to have a reason to change. No, change is the reason. You don't need a reason to change because change is your reason for whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Change. You feel me? We think I have to, like, it's the back. We completely look at it backwards. It's like, I have to do all of these things before I can change. No, you got to change before you can do all of those things. That's where the battle is coming in. And that's why motherfuckers be stuck like a motherfucker. Myself included, a lot of the people that I've, mentored over the, like, you're stuck because you won't change. But it's like, I can't get unstuck until I change. That's your quandary right there. You have to change and you'll get unstuck. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, So Frail was my first book. I had been writing forever. You feel me? Writing rhymes, writing poetry, writing, like creative writing. Like, I was just a writer, but I had not become an author yet. And it was like, so my first book was like, okay, what do I got to do? Like, I had to program myself. I had to change myself from a writer to an author. What did that entail? You feel me? What did that entail? When you're just a writer, you don't edit. You don't proofread because it's your thoughts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially as a rapper. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, when I used to write jam sessions and shit, you let me have a word that was mixed. I didn't have to rewrite it or edit it because it's like, I know what I was supposed to say there. You feel me? As an author, your people, the people that's reading your content, they don't know what you were supposed to say there. They know what was said. Excuse me. You feel me? You have to change into that. So you have to realize, okay, what does it take to be that point? That's the only way you're going to change into it when you start to evolve into what it takes to be there. This is why I talk about in Entrepreneur Goose. I don't remember what episode. It's big fish in a small pond. You feel what I'm saying? What does it take to go into the ocean? Because you got to be ready for the ocean before you get in the motherfucking ocean. You got to be ready. And that's what change is. When you're changing, you're working towards being prepared for that. No, you got to hit that moment where you snap and now I'm ready. You can't get ready in the fire. You're burning at that point. You feel me? You're fucking burning at that point. It's like, what else are you going to do with yourself after that? Like, how are you really going to develop where your next level is? Change has to be your reason. You don't need a reason to change. Change is the reason. That's it. I get it. You feel me? Let me put my disclaimer in for my religious people. I know Jesus is the reason for the season. Oh yeah. Oh yes, he is. Shout out to Kurt Franklin. You feel me? That's what's bagging your groceries. But in life, change is the reason for the next level. You can't have a reason to change. Like, and that's why a lot of people stay in fucked up relationships. That's why they stay at jobs too long. They need a reason to go. They know on the inside that they're yearning for change. They're yearning for something, but they need a reason to go. And because we get so tied into needing a reason to go. The reasons that make us leave are so big to uproot us that it's like, bruh, like yo, bruh. It's like, yo, that shit has to be that big. Like, you feel me? Yeah, because you clearly have all of the little shit and you ain't made the change yet. You feel me? Some people won't change the job that they hate until they get fired because that they have they have been programmed. I need a reason to change. Mm-mm. Change is your reason. Change is your reason for the next level. You feel what I'm saying? When you get that feeling, I'm too big here. Why? It's time to go. Change is your reason. Now, what are you gonna do to do that? What are you gonna do to get to make it an ongoing thing? To okay, I've changed. You feel me? Like, imagine this: you sitting at a job you hate for 2 years. Know that the job that you want is hiring, but you won't apply. Or you make justifications for it. It's like, I already been here. I got to get like, no, change. You don't need a reason. Now it's like, because now when you need a reason, it puts you at a deficit. So now let's use the same example. Now you get fired from the job. Now you have to find another job. In addition to having to find another job, you still got your bills going. You still like, how long is your income going to work? Now you got to do unemployment. Now you got to find if you can get it, depending on how you were terminated, they might, make you resign or some shit like that. You feel me? You never know. So it's like, how do you offset that? What do you do? Sometimes they get severance packages. Like, okay, but why did it have to get there? You need a cat like the universe, God, Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha. It's big on when you want something, you're going to do it and you're going to get it. And it's like when you are bitching and you are stuck in that insanity loop, shit's gonna get cut off from under you. The rug is gonna be fucking pulled. It's gonna like quit fucking complaining and get the shit the fuck done. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, why is this hardship happening to me? Because you were supposed to be out of this shit 2 years ago and you stayed there. You feel me? Or you were supposed to get into this shit at this particular point, but you chose not to. So now you got to figure out, okay, cool. You are stuck for a reason. The irony, the irony in the fact that you are changing, but you are still stuck because you have not changed. Ain't that a bitch? And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. But nah, real shit though. Like real shit. Like that's what the change is about. Like changing change is a constant thing. Changing is an ongoing thing, but at some point there comes a point where bam, you have to change. Because change is your reason. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Change is your reason. And if you're not able to capture that, it's going to be difficult to make the necessary change. You feel me? It's like if you know, okay, case in point, when I talk to people who's like, yo, they're like, um, they'll say shit like, okay, I need a way to figure out how to get passive income. And it's like, okay, what are you doing to get passive income? Nothing. Oh, well, you ain't gonna get passive income. So for them, it's like, I have to find the passive income source first before I can start it. Like, no, you have to do passive income shit to know how to get passive income. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't just gonna fall into your lap. And that's where you get into these MLMs and these things like that because they're focusing on the people who want to be changing and not changed. Most successful entrepreneurs, they either lead the MLM as in they're creating it. I mean, the ones who have changed into that point, they either lead the MLMs or they don't fuck with them at all. Because they're like, okay, it served its purpose for me. You feel what I'm saying? But the ones who are, okay, I'm at the point where I want to change. I know I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do these things, but I don't want to change from what it takes. There's a whole mindset that you have to change. Like you can't think like a 9 to 5 employee anymore. You can't think about shit like, and what I mean by a 9 to 5 employee, I don't mean as, in a condescending way or anything like that. But I mean that a 9 to 5 worker has, a set schedule that is consistent. You feel me? They know their task. There's nothing that deviates. Like as an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to cover every task for your shit until you can find ways to delegate it. You feel what I'm saying? You got to do that first. This is one of the biggest things I always say. I like, yo, cut the middleman out, but know what the middleman does before you cut him out. The reason why I said that is because when you know the skill, now you know where to go. You feel me? When it's time to make the change, it's like, okay, I'm not doing this by myself, but I need qualifications. You feel me? I need to know how I can observe somebody's qualifications. Okay, you fit. You fit this criteria, what I need. Simple. You feel me? But it requires change for that. You got to change first to get the rest of the shit you need. You dig what I mean? The rest of the shit you need is not going to come in spurts along the way. It's going to come when you're able to use it. Like, you feel me? You will not receive the resource you need until you know how to use the resource. Bars. You cannot receive the resource you need until you know how to use the resource. This is firsthand experience personally that I've experienced myself, that I've watched and observed a lot of people that I mentored and guided go through the same thing. It's like, damn, it's like I can't get the resource that I need because you don't know how to use the resource yet. You feel me? You don't know how to use the resource. When you learn how to use the resource, you'll get it. I know it seems like, well, how am I going to learn how to use it if I don't have the resource? It flows hand in hand as you are deciding to change. You feel me? And learn how to use your resources, the resources will come. Number one resource is money, so we say. And people be like, why can't I get the money that I need? Not only are you going to use the resource, are you going to use the resource for what you need it for? Why would we provide it for you? Now, this goes for God, Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, whatever it is that you identify. Like, think about it. How many times have you been stuck saying, okay, the universe just hasn't given me anything? It's like, do you know how to use the resource that we're going to? No, because the way the universe works is about the improvement of the world, period. I know we look at dark times and we got a lot of shit, but the world's still advancing. Still, like, the media blasts all of the negative shit, but productivity and stuff still happens in the world. So when something comes into reality, and the universe is like, okay, cool. Here's the resource you're gonna need, but I have to provide this resource to somebody who's gonna use it, not sit on it and waste it. What kind of shit is that? Because this is about how the world, like your resources for the world. It's your gift. You feel me? It's supposed to be for the world. So I'm gonna give it to somebody who can use it. This is, how you hear the phrase, the Lord give it, the Lord take it away. That's why. That's fucking why, right there. Like, if you cannot use the resource, why would I give it to you? See, some of us try to learn how to use the resource before we get it. You feel me? And no, I'm saying that backwards. Some of us try to get the resource before we learn how to use it. And because we get the resource before we know how to use it, we never really learn how to use it. We only use it for what we want to use it for. There's so many different layers to that. Like, you feel me? Like, I knew somebody who she had an idea, business idea that she wanted to do, and she kept it in her head. She was like, how am I gonna get the resources I need to do? I was like, if I kept saying this shit, I was like, yo, if you want this shit, it's gonna come to you. You just gotta be serious about. She had not made the change into actually wanting to do what she was talking about. She was trying to change into it, but she had not made the change. Somebody else had made the change, and the universe provided all of the resources for them to do the exact thing that she said she wanted to do. You know why? Because they learned the resources. So when the resource came, they knew what to do with it. You feel me? When it comes to the social media marketing and shit like that, initially, I didn't know shit about shit. I just knew to boost the post. That don't mean nothing. You feel me? I had not learned how to use the resource. Now, this is a different point because I know it's going to seem like I contradicted myself, but I had not learned the resource. So when the resource came to me, it was taken away. And what I mean by taken away was like, I might have sold a few products here and there based off of, just the whim, but that was like, eh. That's like beginner's luck. I got an episode on that too. Beginner's luck, the universe's green light. When you have beginner's luck, it can feel like this is supposed to be for you, but it's like a glimpse into, hey, you might want to learn how to use this shit because I'm letting you know right now that this is yours. This is for you. Here's the glimpse that is for you because you got beginner's luck. You are not struggling with this in any way, shape, or form. But beginner's luck and veteran's experience need something in between. I need you to figure that part out. Fuck that. I've already got beginner's luck and it feels like veteran's experience. You feel me? That goes from the social media marketing. That goes from day trading and shit like that. All of the shit that I do now started off at a high peak. When it first happened, I got the beginner's luck from it. But I realized the beginner's luck was just here. This is yours. Now figure out how to keep it yours. And it's like that beginner's luck keeps you from changing sometimes or obtaining the necessary things to get the resources that you need. You dig what I'm saying? So in understanding that and keeping that under wraps for myself, I had to experience, okay, you got to change first. Change has to precede the receiving of resources. You feel me? And when we can get that as people, now this is anything. It could be entrepreneurship, relationships, personal self-development. That's one of the hardest things to do too, to personally develop for yourself, especially because it's so much easier to go to yes people. It's so much easier to be around people that's going to say, you know what, you're fine, you're this, you're that, and the third. But it's hard to deal with people who's going to actually hold you accountable. You feel me? Oh, you bitching, you talking shit. I love people like that in my space. I love people like that in my space because they can see, yo, bro, you ain't, you're changing, but you ain't changed yet. You ain't pushed through the wall. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do. You feel me? It's fine making people that can keep you in the changing mode. What about the people that say, oh, you got to change? This it. This is it. You feel me? You'll find most people back off and just go to what's comfortable. They go back to the fucking pond. Big fish in a small pond. Now you look retarded. You feel me? It's like Zeke on Power and shit, motherfucker. You 23 in fucking college. You 20, a 23-year-old freshman thinking you 19. The fuck? Sounds good. Sounds good, but it ain't good. Feel me? Zeke's situation is different. I just felt like mentioning that because Power was dope. But yeah, that's where we at with this. And that's kind of like when I look at change, it's like that's the biggest thing. Like I do my one-on-one sessions with people. I do like, my chakra clearing, all of that stuff is like, that's the common thing, the change. It's the change. And we usually get to the change about what path is it? Is it the high priestess path? High priestess path starts. But either way, once we get about to the to the sixth sphere, Tifereth, which is personal identity and shit, that's when it starts to transition to, oh shit, I gotta change before I change. And a crazy paradox. So like, yeah. Because it's like it's one thing to be, changing, but what do you do when you change? I've seen a lot of people in their stages where they're changing. It's easy to change back, but you reach a point like talking to, like my religious family. Not even just. I'm not even going to use that. Talking to people from my academia side, Yo, you got to go back. No, I don't. Cause like, yo, bro, what are you gonna do with this, that, and the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth? Like, I've changed. I can't go back if I wanted to. I can't unsee the shit that I saw. I can't unlearn what I fucking learned. I can't ununderstand what I understand. That don't make sense. There's no way I can return to that, even if I try. But when you're in a space where you can return back to something, even if you didn't try, you haven't changed. It's just a matter of moments before it resparks and hits you again. But like I said, you got to be that before you are that in order to successfully be that. If that makes sense. Like, you feel what I'm saying? The star athlete wasn't a star athlete until they envisioned themselves as a star athlete and they trained as a star athlete. With the exception of Iverson, you feel what I'm saying? Most motherfuckers practiced. You feel me? You know what I mean? Like, everybody ain't the anomaly. But that's where we at with this. That's where we at with this. And that's where I wanted to kick off season 7 like that. Because, the number 7 from a numerological standpoint is the end of a cycle, completion. You feel what I'm saying? We're in 2022. It's the new year. I don't even think I said that, yo. Happy New Year, y'all. Like, fuck. But anywho, where I'm going with that is that it's like, I don't know. I just feel a lot of change coming. Not just for myself, but for everything around me. It's a lot of change coming. And it took me to understand that change is a point of, you feel me? It happens. It's not an ongoing thing. It's a constant thing, but it's not ongoing. You feel me? Change is never ongoing. Changing is ongoing, but you reach that point where the spark happens and you've changed. You'll never go back from it again. You feel me? It sucks that most of our changes come from trauma, and I wish we can transition it. Okay, I'm going to trigger euphoria purposely to make me change. Like, the moment you fall in love with a motherfucker, that's euphoria. Something happened that moment and you knew you loved them at that moment. It won't know, you feel me? Okay, I'm loving you. It's like, I love this motherfucker now. It's like, yo, I'm growing to love you. I'm learning to love you. It's like, nope, this it. This the moment that, like, when you realize that and put that on everything, you feel me? And apply that to everything. There's a moment when you fall for a motherfucker, like, you actually say, yo, I love this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You ask them, yo, when did you know you love this person? Now, they can talk about the whole process. I was loving, I was loving, I was loving, I was loving, or trying to love and develop love. It's like, I knew I loved them right here. And the love never changed until the breakup happened or whatever the case may be. And it's like, but prior to that, I knew I wasn't loving this. I was falling out of love with this person. I was not loving this person as much anymore. Different things were happening. When did you stop loving that person? When X, Y, and Z happened. There's a point when the change happens. It's just one thing. You feel me? The gradual process up to it may have been heavy, but it's just that one thing. You feel me? And that's what we got to get to. Change requires us to do it before things happen. When you're in a bad relationship, it works, because I'm segueing with this and I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap it up here. When you're in a bad relationship and shit, it's like you can tolerate that, but there's something that says, nope, that's it. See, this is what we not finna do. That's the final moment. And that is the gist of what all of this was about. You feel me? Making sure that we are going for, because I'm telling you, a lot of change is happening. A lot of change is happening right now, whether you see it or not. Like, the next 5 to 6 years is going to be something phenomenal, depending on how well you prepare and where you're going to go. But I wanted to set the tone off with this just for my own self, because change is the misconception. Change is like changing. No, you're not changing. What do you do when you change? You change. Just let it go. You feel me? Completely change. And to change is like, that's when you're going to get the resources you need. You're not going to get the resources you need before you change, but you got to know what you need. You feel me? You can't prepare for something. Like, you have to set yourself up to be able to identify what resources you need. That's what I mean by that. So, like, for example, if you Nah, I said that was gonna be the end of it. That was the last one I was gonna use, so I'm not gonna go into it because we'll keep talking forever. But yeah, that's that's season 7. We back. We live. We live. Yeah, change is like you got to change to receive your resources. You got to change and you got to change to go to the next level. You can't change. You can't be changing, preparing for the next level. It's never going to come until you're ready for it. Till you know, okay, this is what I have to be ready for to get here, to get the next things to function there. And you can identify this by looking in hindsight. You feel me? They say hindsight is 2020. Foresight is 2020 as well. If you can understand your hindsight a little bit better, because a lot of times we get so caught up in looking back on situations that we don't realize how we're supposed to look forward. You feel what I'm saying? If we know that, okay, this happened when I played this way out, okay, this is likely to happen this way too. You feel me? So it's like when we're looking at change, we realize that we start to get everything we need once we let go of the old shit and we receive the new shit. Like it's different dynamics and shit that we got to play into, but we do it in hindsight. It's like, yo, remember this time this happened. Like that should give you a template on how to approach the future. You feel me? You need a template on how to approach the future because the future is all created by you. And you know how to create your way because you've already been doing it. You feel me? But in order to go to that next level, you have to be willing to change. Change the old mentality, change the survival, change the fear of, you know what I mean? Get out of that. You feel me? A lot of entrepreneurs right now, a lot of people right now can't go to that next level because they're stuck in surviving. They have not changed into a thriver. They've changed. They're stuck as a survivor. There's nothing wrong with being a survivor, but survivors don't thrive. But thrivers always survive. Keep that in mind. Change into what it is to be a thriver. You know what it is to be a survivor, but change what it is to be a thriver. You feel me? And I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables, and watch your babies. Your babies change all the time. And what I like about how children change is that it's so genuine. They're like, okay, this is it. Like these are the things that I was in this spot in this space. I don't want to do this anymore. I do want to do this. Okay, cool. But they prepare themselves for what they want. You feel me? They prepare themselves for what they want, and then the resource provides itself. And it's like the kid be there. Yeah, I get it. The parent be the resources and everything like that. But oftentimes the child has already changed and said, this is what I want to do. You don't put your child in karate and then they decide I like it. No, your child likes karate first and then you put them in it. You feel me? Most times. But we in the culture was like, yo, you try to force your child into something that makes it hard for them to change. You feel me? But teach that dynamic early that change is, you got to do it before it presents itself for you. You feel me? Your child want to be karate, want to do karate and shit. Okay, they got to do that first. And then it makes it easier to learn karate. This is why a lot of motherfuckers failed in school. This is why a lot of them like because they were in situations that they had not changed for. You feel me? Some motherfuckers be visual learners, but they in a fucking auditory class. The fucking you ain't there to learn. You can't yell at that baby for that shit. Yo, goofy ass. That baby don't know shit about shit. They know how they learn, so they can't change into, you know what I mean? So keep your babies on point. Make sure that it's the proactive side of changing. And they're able to, learn that early that, yo, you got to change before you got to be prepared for that situation before you feel me? Some call it faith. Some call it but see, now if we're going to stick it to faith, faith without works is dead. This is why. The work is preparing yourself for the resource to use. You got to know how to use the resource. David and Goliath was the best example of the shit. Niggas love that whole story. David conquered, people pay attention to David conquering Goliath, but overlook the fact that David tells niggas, I've been practicing with this sling, killing lions and bears who were trying to hunt, who were trying to get the sheep. So when the time presented itself, he wasn't fighting for the shit. He wasn't nervous. It was like, why are you so, cuz bitch, I do this already. I done killed 4 lions and 8 bears, my nigga. What the fuck is a 9-foot human gonna do to me? You feel me? That's a part that y'all overlook in the story. Oh, I can conquer my challenges there, no matter how big they are. No matter how big they are, if you pair for challenges that were equally as big, motherfucker. But I'm gonna go ahead and end that. Stop letting your baby just pay attention to the David and Goliath story without getting the whole motherfucking story about how proper preparation prevents poor performance. Prepare properly, be punished by the principles. Y'all can kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. It was good to be back for season 1, and I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.